Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Midnight, bringing you yet again another video. Now in today's video we're actually going to be talking about some of the new units that have come out on the JP version of Overlord Mass for the Dead. Now this is going to be a regular thing where I'm going to kind of overview the JP units, mainly because that's what I'm playing now. I'm not really playing global as much. I'm literally just going on there using my stamina and I'm done with it, because as I'm sure most of you are aware now, the game is shutting down, so I have moved on to JP and I'll cover more content with that. However, I'm just trying to level up my units and everything. So in today's video, we're going to get into two of the new units that have come out on JP, which are the Valentine's Day Aura and the Valentine's Day Yuri. And yeah, we'll get straight into things. We'll start with Aura. Now Aura is a technique unit, so blue unit attacker. It's the same as pretty much all the other auras. I think they've really made Aura as a character in game to be a multi-hit target, but single target, if that makes sense. So you've got Halloween and Nazarick Aura where they hit twice, and then you've got the OG Aura, which is only single target, and the, what's the other one, Christmas Aura as well, hits multiple times. Yeah, basically they're just making Aura as a single target unit, which they've done again here. In terms of stats, Aura's actually got pretty balanced stats. In terms of damage, is not too bad. Speed's pretty good as well. Defense and HP are okay, I guess, for an attacker. Has pretty decent resistances, although it does take more damage to flame. But you got to think with flame units, they're mostly going to be power, so the red type, which are going to be weak to you anyway. So it's going to be very hard to find someone that's going to do a lot of damage to you. I guess Nazarick Demiurge would probably be the biggest threat because he is a green unit and he also does flame, so just be careful with that. Now the first skill is a 4 MP skill leading 2 to 5 hits of 62%, and then giving you a 10% speed buff. Now this skill, I believe from what we've tested, it is a 45% chance each hit, so you're guaranteed to hit twice, so guaranteed to hit 124%. But to get the 3, 4 and 5th hit is a 45% chance each hit. So there is a 135% chance out of 300% that you will land all hits, if that makes it easier for you guys, I guess. If this unit lands, let's say 4 hits or 5 hits, it is the strongest single target damaged skill in the game, I'm pretty sure, with I think at a maximum 310%. If you land all 5 hits. So very strong skill. Again, it's a coin flip. If you land heads loads of times, then it's going to be very good. If you don't, then it's going to be okay, but there'll be better single target units that will hit more consistently. So if you'll find that you're always hitting 2 hits, maybe even 3, then you're probably better off going for someone else like, I don't know, Nazarick Entma, Nazarick Shizu, any other aura basically. But if you're going to get the 4 and 5 hits often, then very good. Now the buff skill is actually also very good. Once again, it's a 2 MP skill with a 40% attack buff to yourself and a 46.88% crit for 3 turns and a 12% overdrive gorge. Not too much to say here. It's going to be very good for raids because obviously you want to be doing as much damage as you can, and you're having a higher critical rate is going to do a lot better, especially if you combine it with the Valentines relic, which we got recently, which increases your critical attack. So yeah, not a bad buff to have, especially considering it's only 2 MP. The last skill is 6 MP and it deals at 225% water physical damage with 100% elemental rate. And yeah, now this skill here, it is going to be very good for nuking people that are weak to water, but besides from that, I would probably avoid using this skill at all costs and mainly use the first skill. However, if you're against someone and let's just say you want to get a guaranteed high damage, like let's say you want to kill a unit and you know you're going to kill him this turn, then use that skill. Or if the unit takes more damage to water, then use it because it's going to do huge damage because of the elemental rate. But yeah, overall still not a bad skill. I wouldn't say it's below average, but I wouldn't say it's above average. It's just good, very situational. It can be probably the strongest single target damage skill in the game depending on who you're using it on. And by that I mean using it on a power unit that takes more damage from water. I don't think any other skill will do more damage than that. But yeah. Then the passives, we've got 15% physical attack and 25% physical skill. Very good because all of her skills are physical. and then you have a unique passive where it does 25% water strengthen if your HP is 50% or higher. If your HP is below 50%, you'll get 50% water strengthen. So regardless, you're always going to have a 25% water strengthen on the unit, depending on what side of your health is on. So if it's below 50, then you'll get more. And then lastly, the overdrive is a 102% physical damage to all enemies with a 15 speed debuff and a -1 hit to all enemies. The -1 hit is 20% chance that the enemy will miss their attack on you if it is only the first layer. So not a bad skill, not a bad overdrive to have, especially on the end game of Chaos Fields, because it's going to do big damage, and it's also going to make it so that they're more likely to miss hitting you and you'll take no damage at all, although it is only 20%. So overall, this unit is not too bad at all. There's the character art right there. I think it's a pretty cool unit. I wouldn't really pull for it in general, to be completely honest with you. I'm going to pull for the next unit, which we've got on the screen in just a moment. But overall, Aura, very strong single target damage dealer, and we'll show you where she's placed on the tier list once I go through Yuri. Now, Yuri is the second Valentine's unit. It is a speed enhancer unit with pretty decent stats all around the ball. Considering it's an enhancer, the attack stat is pretty high. The HP is pretty good. The defense is a bit on the lower end, and the speed is very good with a 440. In terms of resistances, has very good resistances, only taking 25% extra damage to flame damage. So with this unit, you probably want to keep in mind, although it is 25% less than Aura, this unit does take more damage from power units, which are majority of the flame type units, so just be careful of that. Skill number 1 is a free MP cost, which is 130% wind damage with a 50% elemental rate and a 45% debuff on your enemy's defense. So this skill is actually really strong, not only because it is quite a high percentage for free MP, but a high elemental rate and a very good debuff, lowering the enemy's defense. This can be very good for higher end content where you're fighting one-on-one enemies that have loads of HP and deal loads of damage. And this is also going to be good for raids, as you're going to lower the enemy's defense whilst dealing pretty high amount of damage, especially if they take more to wind element, at the cost of only 3 MP. So all around, very good skill. The buff is a 35% physical attack to your whole party and a 50% physical skill damage for your whole party for 3 turns. The only downfall of this skill is 4 MP. If it was 3 MP, I think this would be a very good skill. I think with her kit, 4 MP for this is a bit too much, personally. I know she's an enhancer, but her kit says otherwise. And yeah, overall this skill here I don't actually think is amazing, but it can be quite good if you're using this unit as a buffer for your physical team. However, there are other buffers that will do such things, like you've got Nazarick Entema that can buff and debuff. You've got other units as well that can buff your stats, like Lachios and so on and so forth. But not a bad skill, but I don't see myself ever using it. The last skill that she has is a 4 MP AoE skill. It does 42% damage times 2, so you deal 2 hits of it, which means 84% damage wind element and 100% elemental rate. It also lowers the defense of all enemies by 30%, so this skill is actually very, very strong. Not only does it do a high amount of damage, but it has a high elemental rate and does a very good debuff on the side as well, which is AoE, should I add. But yeah, overall, Yuri is just so good. Like, personally, I've pulled her already. I've went all 10 steps to get Yuri. I need an AoE unit on my account, and to be completely honest with you, besides from Nazarick, Ainz, Yoshino and Christmas Albedo, I would probably argue she's the best AoE unit in the game besides those 3. And if not, she's in the top 5, I would say, with Platinum Dragon Lord being up there somewhere. But she just does a huge amount of damage with a high elemental rate with a very good debuff, so all around very good unit. Now, her passives are a 15% physical attack, 15% speed, and 25% wind strengthen. So this is going to make her speed be even faster and also make her hit a lot harder, considering her speed is already quite high as is. But obviously with the wind element and the physical attack, that's going to make her first and her last skill be a lot stronger, since they do the wind element damage. Lastly, her Overdrive deals 2 hits of 129% physical damage to one enemy with 100% Grotesque Killer, and gives yourself a 52.5% attack boost for 3 turns. So again, not a bad Overdrive. It's going to be very good for nuking, especially against Grotesque players like, God knows. I guess Aqua is one if we ever get Hey Konosuba collab again, but I can't really think of any Grotesque people off the top of my head. I guess Solution. But yeah, any Grotesque people will take massive damage from this skill, and also give yourself an attack buff for your up and coming skills. And there is Yuri's art. So overall, these 2 units are actually both very good. Personally, I pulled for Yuri just because I needed a AoE unit, as I said, but both, if you pull for either or, are both very strong, and it doesn't really matter which one you go for. I'd strongly recommend both, to be honest with you, but I think Yuri's a bit more valuable because she's the strongest wind elemental user at the minute, whereas Aura doesn't have any element, and there's other single target damage dealers that are quite strong. Lastly, here is the tier list that we have got on server at the moment. So you can see that Yuri is placed at the top of S tier and Aura is slightly behind. Now, this is the tier list. Obviously, many people are going to be looking at it saying that there's changes, because usually you're used to seeing a global tier list. However, this is the JP one. And you can see that there are plenty of units on here that are not out on global and that won't be out on global. But yeah, Yuri is sitting here, and Aura is sitting right at the top right of the tier list. Still at the moment, Nazarick, Christmas Albedo is still regarded as the best unit in the game. But one thing I will say is, if you are watching my content from global when you're planning on starting on JP, it's a good time to start, because in about 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, we should be getting 2nd year anniversary on global, which probably means we're going to get a unit in the same tier as SS, if not in a tier on his own or her own, because yeah, Nazarick Irons has been up there for the longest of time. For a whole year, he's been in the top 5 units up until just this last summons, I guess, until Platinum Dragonlord come out. So yeah, we can expect this unit to be good, and good for a long time. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Take care and peace out.